Today we will explain section drawing, a section view, or a section inside, looks basically inside of an object. So we have some kind of an object and we are cutting it through, imaginary of course, cutting through to see what is inside. Okay? So, usually section drawings are drawn for several reasons. One of them is that when you draw an object, let's say the front view, the top view, the side view, what is happening inside is drawn usually as hidden lines on the drawing, as hidden lines. However, sometimes the details are a little bit intricate or complicated, so we have a lot of hidden lines and it becomes a little bit unclear. So the section view can help to clarify the shape inside. Another reason is to show the material. Like for example, where do we have empty space? Where do we have certain material? What is this material? With a section, you can clarify this on a drawing. So, in section views, we will see there are several types. And there is always a certain part of the object removed, and the other part shown as the details inside. Here is one example. So here we have this object, and it is cut in the middle, like imaginary cut in the middle, like this. So one part, one half is removed, and then the other part shown basically what is going on inside. Now this is as an orthographic view of this section. Now sometimes they draw section views both as orthographic and an isometric, for example, if it needs extra clarification. Sometimes we don't have this, we just have the object, the cut line through, and we draw it as orthographic. So it's basically depends on the drawing and on the need. Here again, we have more examples. So, here is an object which has been cut in the middle, okay? And basically, one part we need to show what's going on inside, the other part is gone. Now notice the line, okay? The section drawing have always a cutting plane line, and we've seen this line in the first or second lecture when I talked about the different line types. There was a line that looks like this, okay, with arrows. Now the arrows can be in this direction, in that direction. So what do the arrows show, basically? Look in this cutting plane, this is the cutting plane line, and the arrows show that direction. It means that this part of the object is removed, deleted, and this part is the one that we are keeping and drawing, okay? So, now here you can see a standard drawing, which is, could be a front view and a top view, and the interior part is shown as hidden lines. You see these lines? They are the hidden lines. Here it is shown cut through, so one of the part removed, half of it, and then all of these lines that were here hidden now have become object lines, dark object lines, because now we see them. Here they are closed. So the object is closed, we see them as hidden lines inside. Here when we open the object, we can see them as clear object lines. This is important when you draw something like this. You cannot draw them as hidden lines anymore because they're not hidden, okay? So, also we see this part. Do you see this part here? That have like lines through it. We will see a little bit later. This shows the material it is made of. So, the part that doesn't have any lines through means it is empty space. Like this hole, you see the cutting plane line. So, what we are seeing here is basically part of this. What we are seeing here is basically this opening, or this here opening. So, here, this material is solid material. Everything around us that is designed is made out of material. So when we cut it, we can see a solid material in some of the parts. that are not empty. This we will see in this lecture later on, that we have different ways of showing different materials, okay? So it will look differently. Now, for now, we need to understand that a cutting plane line, okay, have arrows. The direction in which the arrows show means this is the part we are keeping, this is the part we are drawing. The other part get deleted, okay? Here we have another object. We see this object already today. We saw it cut in half. Here it's drawn again. So here is the line that shows the cutting plane. So notice how. So this is here front view, side view, top view. Okay. But notice here how this cutting plane line on this view, the arrows show down. So, which part do we need? This part or this part? Which part are we actually drawing here? We are drawing this part, because here the arrows show down. So this is what we need. This will get deleted. So this part is taken here. If it's a third angle rotation, it's taken and rotated this way and drawn here, opened. Okay? So this is going halfway through the object, if you notice. Okay? And we are drawing this part. It is taken up and rotated in third angle projection, and it's shown open. Any part that is solid material, again you can see those lines through that show the material. Notice also, now when we have a cutting plane line, this line cuts in the middle, the object. It has arrows, as we already said. This is the first section. You can have more than one section on one object. This is one section, it's called A. And when you draw the section view, you name it section A-A. Okay? So this is very important, because what if I have another section and a third section, then they will be named, okay? BB, CC, DD, and so on. So we will see examples also today of multiple sections in one object. Now, for now, we see only examples where the section cut half of the object. This is a full section view, as we will see later, because we have several types. So the full section cuts fully the object, like this, but the line goes fully through the object, one part removed, the other part kept and drawn. So, the cutting plane line, these words, you should know them, okay? Cutting plane line. So this is used to indicate where the cutting plane cuts the material. What the cutting plane line? This is the cutting plane line code, okay? So, it shows where the object is getting cut. Section lines are thin, and the type of lines are chosen according to the material of the object. Section lines are generally drawn at 45-degree angle. What section lines? These lines we're talking about, where we show the material, okay? The solid material. Now, these lines are drawn generally at 45 degrees angle, okay? So if this is a solid material, this is a solid material, we need to put, we will see later that there is different types of lines to show different materials, but they are drawn at 45 degrees, okay? This is important to understand. Here we see different lines for different materials, okay? So the one we saw until now is this, which is for used for iron, for cast iron, and for, like, if you don't want to specify the material, this is important. So, for example, I don't want to specify exactly what kind of material, just I want to show that it is a material. I also use that type, okay? Also, if I want to specify, okay, it is iron, cast iron, I use that one. For other materials, you have to use other line types, okay? So, so we have many, and there is probably also for other materials, other ways of showing. So this is the general one, mostly used, which shows like that there is a material, but there is maybe you can specify it in somewhere else in the drawing, what kind of material exactly this is. So you don't have to use these others. But you should know that they exist, okay? Okay. Now, here, we already mentioned part of this, but I will repeat it. So we have a line that shows where we are cutting the object, okay? Here. Now, the arrows show up. That means we are keeping this part and we are deleting this part. So this part we are drawing here will be taken, okay, and rotated and placed here as opened. And this is here the solid material. And notice how these two holes, which are these here, okay, so we can see one hole and a second hole. So these lines, do you see these lines here? These lines are shown as what? Object lines. So we can see a heavy black line, not as hidden lines, okay? So we cannot have an object we're cutting, taking it down, flipping it, and then showing this as hidden lines, because they're not hidden. When you cut the object, you start seeing these lines as clear object lines, okay? So in the drawing, because this can cause confusion, I will think it is a hidden line, okay? So the line type, very important. Now, this is a normal view, where you have, for example, let's say a front view, a top view. Yes, then you show it as hidden lines. But once you show a cut through, okay, a section view, the lines become visible. What's inside? Okay, become visible object lines. Here again, the same thing what we explained just now, okay? So we have here an object. This is the cutting plane line. The arrows are in that direction, mean this we delete, this we keep, this object is taken and shown what is inside, okay? You cannot draw this as hidden lines. They must be as object lines. And where is the solid material? You put the other lines at 45 degrees. This is for the general material or cast iron. Remember what we explained before in the past? That if you have, for example, hidden lines, you cannot put a dimension on the hidden line. So that's also wrong, okay? But once you cut it through the object as a section and you show this as object lines, you can put a dimension to them. So sometimes this is also a reason why section views are used, because there is a lot of, for example, hidden lines inside, and it's not allowed to put measurements on the hidden lines. So showing it this way, you can do that. You can show the details inside, you can show where we have material, where we have empty, and you can dimension the objects inside, the details. Now, in some cases, when you cut an object through and show it as a section view, you have, for example, different parts. Not one part. For example, this is one part, this is another part, for example, here, okay? So, in this case, these lines which show the solid material, which we said should be at 45 degrees, you have to use in the parts that are close to each other or touching each other in different directions. So, this is 45 degree and this is 45 degree, but they are in different directions, okay? Not, for example, show like this, all of them, because it will mean that this is one piece, okay? But if it's one part and another part, we need to show this to be clear that these two pieces are not connected. They're separate, okay? So, as you can see, this is here a part of a screw. So, it's screwing this part with this part together. But they are two separate pieces. This is important, okay? To understand what's going on here in the drawing. So, we need to use them as 45 degrees, but in opposite directions. Here. Another rules that you need to keep in mind when you draw these lines for the material is, for example, sometimes the part that you are actually presenting is at 45 degrees. Then it's not allowed to draw these lines which show the material at 45 degrees. So they cannot be parallel to the object line. And like this, it is also wrong. Okay? So you cannot use it this way. In this case, you have to draw the material lines at 30 degrees, not 45. So this is one of the exceptions. So they're always at 45, but if the object is at 45, you cannot draw them parallel to the object or in this way, okay? Not allowed. You need to draw them shifted at 30 degrees, okay? Also here, look at these examples. So these lines are correct. These lines, material lines that go parallel to the object, not correct. And parallel again to the object, not correct, okay? So you cannot show the material like this or like this, but it must be opposite in case the object is kind of have a rotation of this type in the drawing, okay? So you need to be careful about it. If it's just vertical, horizontal, like in front view, top view, side view, and the object is pretty simple, it doesn't have anything at an angle, then there is nothing to worry about, okay? Then you draw the lines as it is at 45 degrees, but in these situations, be careful. Now, until now, we looked only at one type of section view, which is the most common one used, which is the full section. So you have an object, you're cutting it through fully, from one side to another, like this, but it needs to be fully cut, okay? So full section. We also have half section and offset section views for different needs, and we will see examples. This is what? A full section. So we have an object, the section line here, cut it fully. And where it's cut in the middle, it doesn't have to be in the middle always, okay? But this is the standard, cutting in the middle and cutting it fully, like this or like this, and with arrows showing which part I'm keeping and which one I'm drawing, and which is the one deleted, okay? So this is the full. Now, the half. What is the half section? So, it only shows half of the object. So, for example, look at this cutting plane line. Look how it goes from here to here to here. Now, this arrow here is not very important, but this one is important. This shows that we are keeping this part and we are deleting this part, okay? This part will get deleted and we will see what's inside here. Okay, great. But look, this is here a half section. So, if it was a full section, how it will look like? The line will go all the way here with an arrow up, and we will have to draw here all of this object opened. However, this is not needed, especially when the object is symmetrical. Now, this is a symmetry. This, the same like this. So, what happened inside here from this view? The same what happened here. So, we don't need to draw 2 times. Now, look here. This entire object has been drawn entirely, but it's only opened here. From this line, okay, so this here object has been deleted and shown what is inside, okay? So we have here opening, a hole, another hole, and this is solid material. Here we have another hole, okay? Notice if you put the lines down, okay, this is opening, this is solid material here, where the cut through comes. Now, now if I put it as a full section, the line going this way, I have to draw the same thing here again. The same, which is not needed because it's the same, it's symmetrical. So, with symmetrical objects, you can use half sections. But the line must go, okay, starting going like usual, and then stopping here, okay? So, you show that only this part you remove. But this part, no need, because it's the same. So half sections are used for usually usually when there is a symmetrical object, and to show half of the object only in the drawing, to save you time. Okay, you no need to repeat yourself. This arrow very important here in half section to show which part are we keeping, the upper part or the lower part. This line go down, okay? So, for example, we show that this is the totally the removed part. This arrow is not so important, okay? Because from our view, we are viewing what's happening here, like this, okay? So, what happened on this line from here, we are not seeing, okay? So, this is why this arrow is not of huge importance. Now, offset section views. What is an offset section view? Again, look at the line, how it goes. So what's going on here? If we have a full section view, the line will go beautifully from one side to the other, and finish that way. Half section would be, putting the line like this, for example, removing this part or this part, if it is symmetrical. But look, this object is different. So when we look at it, this is the front from the top. So we have an opening here, and we have an open hole here. Now, if I put my section line going through this object to show it, here as open, then I will not be able to see this. And if I put the section line going through this object, I will not see this. But sometimes, why, for example, draw two sections? Why draw one line here, another line here, then draw it 2 times? Why? We can just use an offset section line. That means the first one go through here, then continue down, then go through this object. So in my drawing, I can show both this one and this opening. Look, put 2 lines down. This is this object, okay, opened here. And this here are these 2, okay? If you put the lines down, okay? So, in one drawing, I show all of these interior openings of the object without having to draw 2 section lines and 2 open section views. So this is again to save you time. No need to draw extra if you can't show it in one drawing. But whoever looks at this understands, okay, how did you cut it through? So the cut goes through here, okay, so we can see this part here, which is solid material, then it cuts here, then it goes down. So you need to show the line, the cutting line very clearly. Here is an example of multiple section views in one object. So we said that you can have more than one cut. Sometimes you need to do that, sometimes, okay? So here, for example, in this object, we can see it's in cut using what? Full section views. Full. How full? This is a line that cuts through it in half completely. You see, completely. The line goes through. And then a second time it has been cut this way, completely, okay? So this goes through half of the object, and this goes through half. The arrows showing this direction, meaning we are deleting this part one time. A second time we are cutting through here, and we will show this part and deleting all of this part. Sometimes you need to have more than one cut to show the full details of the object. So, this line that cuts through the object in this way with the arrows that way. It is drawn here. This part is taken, rotated, and drawn opened, showing where it has open parts, where it has solid material. And then the second section, so this one could be called section AA, for example. Here we will have A, and here we will have A. This is the section that cuts the plane like this. It will be BB, and it will be shown here, meaning this part we are taking, rotating it, and putting here, okay? So, usually when you cut in a certain way, the object shown at the section is aligned with the view, okay? So, this is here, for example, taken, this part, rotated, and put here. And all of these are aligned for easy vision, okay? So that we can understand what's going on. And this section here is this part cut, so this part deleted, this object taken and put here, and everything aligns, okay, again. Sometimes they are not aligned, like in this example, okay? So, the view is not in the projection path, okay? So sometimes in some drawings you can have a lot of section views and they are not placed in the projection path for several reasons. They are placed separately, okay? But they still need to be marked correctly. Like we have this object, we have 3 full section views, cutting through here, cutting through here, cutting through here. Each one is marked clearly. This is AA, okay? This is section AA, this is B, and this is C, okay? So sometimes they are represented like this, which is also correct. Depends on the need. Sometimes you need to have, as I said, more than one section in the drawing.
Doctor?
Yes. Yes.
How can we know exactly what's inside? I mean, sometimes there's details we can't know about the top shape, from the top shape.
From the top view, you mean?
No, how we can exactly know what's inside.
How can you know what's inside?
To draw when we cut it.
Well, this depends on the exercise, on the drawing that you're drawing. If you have a drawing, for example, it's your design, you are the one designing it, you will have a sketch, a drawing next to this. And of course, when you draw the object front view, top view, side view, you will have hidden lines. The hidden lines that show what's going on inside. But as we said, sometimes there is a lot of hidden lines inside which can create confusion, so you cannot imagine the object correctly. That's why a section, you cut the object through and draw it as opened. Now, from where this, it can be your design. Maybe you're the designer of this piece, okay? Or this, whatever object it is. So, it can be your design. In our class, you don't have your designs now, because we are still learning how to draw such drawings. So we are not wasting time on you sitting and designing something. But if you are the one who, basically a designer who is trying to design something new, then you are the one who is making these decisions. What will happen inside, where you have holes, where you have openings, where you have solid material, what is the material, and all of these drawings will show your idea. What is your idea? To whoever is looking at it, to understand it perfectly. And if I am the one who want to build it, I know exactly how to build it. I have the measurements, I have all the views, I have a cut-through section view, I know exactly what's going on inside, and so on. So it really depends on also what are you designing. Sometimes you don't need section views. Sometimes you just need, if I'm designing this table now, I don't need section. But I will need a front view, a top view, a side view, measurements, correct. I need to know all the parts, which part is connected or which part is separate, all of these other details. So it really depends what are you designing, so which type of drawings do you need. Most of the time in all designs, orthographic multi-views are used. For example, an isometric drawing or another type of pictorial is used. This is a must. Then we said that there are also other type of drawings that you may need, such as auxiliary views, detail views, section drawings, and next class we will see exploded views. So these drawings are optional. It depends on the need. Do you need them or you don't need them? This depends on what is it you're designing. Okay? So there are general drawing types that in all designs we will see them. And there are other types that we don't see them in all designs. It is about the need. So if you're designing something that doesn't have a lot of intricate interior, for example, shapes to show, there is no need for this drawing. But you need to know what it is, and you need to know how to do it if you need it. Okay? Here is more example. So we have an object. So if you're the designer of this, you will have a sketch, a drawing, and then there is some interior parts that you need to show. You show where is the cutting plane line. Now notice this is an isometric drawing. Okay, an isometric to imagine better what's going on. So this line, do you see this line that passes through the object? It is actually what? A full section. It is like cutting through like this, okay? Full section view. So when you draw it from the top, this object from the top view, from the top, the line will be just looking as one line going through the middle, okay? And which part do you want to show opened? You show the arrows if you want to keep this part and delete this part. Then you will take this part, rotate it, and you will show it as opened, and the material inside and where you have openings also you will show. So, again, this is here a line going through the middle. It's a full section. The object is cut in half. If you look at the same drawing, which is an isometric, it will look like this after we remove this part, okay? So, this part here, when we draw it as, this is here from the top view, and then rotate it as a front view, this is what we will see here. This is the solid material, which is hatched at 45 degrees, okay? Now here we will see other examples. So for example, to draw this object with a full section line with the arrows showing up. That means we want this part and we will delete this part. And this part we will rotate and draw it here. Here is an isometric example for you to imagine better what's going on. Okay? So, when we finish the drawing, okay, it will show again which part is solid material. If you imagine a line cutting through in the middle, okay, of this object, we will have here empty space, here. This hole, which is on this side, we will see it as object, clear object line. We didn't cut through it. We are cutting only through the middle. This material and this here part and this here will all be solid because there is no hole. But here we have a hole, okay, so this part will be empty. So, other objects. Now, look here. This, for example, type of object. If you draw it as a normal, for example, side view, front view, top view, without section, it will be a little confusing. Here is an example where it can become, it's not confusing if you understand the lines, but it's a bit overcrowded. Like, we have here these lines, which are seen here, which is from the outside, because these objects come out of the actual object, so these are object lines. Then here inside we have here a circle, which is this circle, and this is the midline going through the circle, and then we have all these hidden lines here which show the other details, so it becomes a little bit not clear. So the section view, look at this section how it's done, okay? So it's not a full section, this one. It will remove this part and show what's going on from here. So this part will be deleted, and here we will see the section. So now it's a little bit more clear as an object. When it's open, we understand that these hidden here lines, okay, they are this object, which is an opening. We understand this is here full material, solid material, and these lines were deleted here at the front because we deleted all of this part, so we are not getting confused by them. We only see what's inside here, and it's more clear in this way. Here is other examples. This object. So, let's see what will happen. Now, this is here the initial drawing. These are the hidden lines inside because the object is closed here. And we show the cutting plane like we want to cut it in half. So we will take this part now, rotate it, put it here, and show what is going on. Where is the solid material and where is the hole? Okay, so where is the opening? they will stay as it is. The solid material will be dashed. Okay? So, it becomes much more clear. Now here, another type. So, this object, which is the same object, but cut in a different way. So, notice one time the cutting plane line is put on this view, another time on this view. So you have like different views. You have a top view, a side view, a front view. Again, where you put this cutting plane line, it can be different from one drawing to another, depending on how you want to cut it, which part you want to keep, which part you want to draw. Okay? So, now this line is put on this view, and it is half. Okay? So, no need to show this part, because it's the same like this part. So, we will just cut it through like this, and delete this part, delete, and look how it's shown here. So, this part is shown here, drawn, but it's closed. We don't see what's inside. Only this part here is deleted, and where is the solid material? It's hatched. Where is the empty space from these holes, basically? It is shown here. And of course, it's very easy when you actually are drawing it, because you are taking just all the lines are aligned with each other, so there is no way you can make a mistake. The only mistake you can make is with, okay, for example, should I put this as clear object line, or as dashed line, as a hidden line, and any other details that you can make a mistake of. But the drawing is aligned like always. You're just showing it one time closed, one time it's opened. And the only new thing is really putting the dash at 45 degrees to show which material is full and which material is opened will be left as it is. So this is basically the new thing. And you have the different types, of course, of section lines. So full, half, offset, okay? This you choose depending on need. Here's more examples. So, again, we have an object. This is, for example, from the front, shown as closed. This is from the top, rotated. And you have 3 cutting lines. And look at them, they're offset. They are offset section views. Because the line doesn't go straight down, then it's full. It's also not half. It is a line coming, going through this object, going this way, going through this object. It is with the intention to show these circles in one drawing. Then, now we cannot show this circle and this and this and this and this and this, everything in one drawing. It's not possible. So 3 offset section views have been chosen. But at least you save yourself 2 drawings here. 2 in 1, okay? And then 2 in 1, 2 in 1. So 3 offset views, marked AA, section AA, then section BB, and section CC. Let us see how they will look. So, this line with these arrows shows what? For AA, that this part is deleted. So, all of this object is drawn, rotated here, section AA. Then, section BB. This part here, all of this part is deleted, and all of this part shown, rotated here as BB. So, they are aligned with each other, so they are put in their correct location, but each one has a different cut through. Now, section CC cuts through this object, meaning the arrows are that way, so we keep only this object, and all of this deleted. So, we see what's going on here, okay? That's why each one looks different, because they are cut in different locations. Okay. Here is more examples, basically to cover all possible situations that can happen. So we have here an object. Again, here is from the front, here is from the top. And on the top view, these cutting planes are put. Now look what we have here, a combination. We have, this is here a full section. It cuts the object in half fully. And then we have offset. Second section offset. So AA is offset, BB is a full section. And let's see here. Now, section AA, which is this one, the offset, the arrows show up. It means we are keeping this object. This object is taken, rotated, aligned with this view. So basically it's the same like the front view here, but now it's opened. Opened in which way? According this line here. Okay? Section BB is placed here because we have this line here cutting through. The arrows show in that direction. That means this piece is what we want. This piece is taken, rotated, and placed here, aligned. Okay? So, when it's possible to align the section views, you will put them in the correct location, not somewhere else, okay? So that we can understand what's going on better. So, another example. So, we have here a front view. All the openings inside are shown as dashed lines because they're hidden. This is the top, for example. The cutting plane line is put on the top view, meaning we will cut the object like this, and we will keep this part, and we will take it, and we will rotate it, and put it here. It's going to have the same shape like the front view, because it is the front view actually, but the object is cut in half. So this is the front, and this will be the section view. So if we take the front view, look at all these lines inside that are hidden lines. When we cut it, they are shown now as object lines, and where the material is solid, the dashed lines are placed. And here is an object as isometric for the visual, so you can understand what's going on. Your exercise. Now we will have section views to do. Now, like an exercise, a very simple actual exercise, but later you will have projects. In the projects, everything what you learn will be applied. So all this type of, most of this type of drawings, including sections, will be applied again. And we will not explain it later, okay? So all these rules you should be kind of clear about them. So let's see what you have to do here. You have here an object. It's a very simple object, as you can see. There is no circles, no curves. Okay, everything is with straight line to practice this idea of section view. The front is from here, the front elevation from here. You have to draw this object in scale 1 to 1, meaning what you have here number. This is what in millimeter. So 18 millimeter, 1.8 centimeter. Okay. Take this, put it on the paper as 3 orthographic views. So, front view, top view, right side view. Okay? You need to draw this in its correct measurements. After that, third angle projection. Okay? Third angle projection in the rotation of the third angle that we explained. Then, you need to draw the isometric view. This is actually an isometric here. But you need to draw it according scale 1 to 1, its correct size. So you have orthographic view, front, top, side, plus you have an isometric drawing to do, plus you have to draw the cutting plane line for the section drawing on the top view. So look here how the cutting plane line goes. It is what? A full section view. In the middle, the arrows show in that direction. That means we keep this part. So, section AA. So you will draw this line where? On the top view. Okay? On the top view, it will look just like one line going through the object with the correct arrows. Then you name it AA, and you will draw it aligned with the front view. How aligned with the front view? Like this. So you have a front view. The section view will be aligned with the front view and the top view, of course. And you will have like this line going through at the top, similar to what we have here. You will have also an isometric drawing here. You will also have a side view here, and so on. Okay? Okay. Then, hatch the material as cast iron or the general one with the lines at 45 degrees. So when we cut this here in the middle, all of this. There is no difficult objects, no openings inside. Everything will be hatched because this is all solid material, okay? Out of iron, for example, or wood, imagine, okay? So cut it through, hatch it with the material as cast iron in the correct way at 45 degrees. And this is basically it, okay? So you have a full drawing with a section view also here. Now, let me close this.